Today we are doing a 2025 NFL mock draft. I am joined with Marcus Whitman, that franchise guy. Marcus, say hi to the people, and you can choose whether you want the first or the second pick.
How's it going, everybody? Alex, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this. Always a good time to talk some ball with you. This is technically our second mock draft. We did this in person in Mobile, so a lot has changed since then. So it'll be fun to do another go at it here. I will take the evens. I think I've been picking in the odds for like every mock draft because as a Packers fan, people tend to give me that pick. So I'll take the evens today.
I like it. Okay, so I'll start out with the odds, and I'm gonna
I need to flame you for your Packers. Whoever you take for the Packers, I need to flame you.
Okay, I was about to say, something I've already done. Like, come on, give me a couple picks.
I'm just expecting you to screw up for my Packers like everybody else does.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. When I was with Mike, I did the odds as well. It's so fun to have the conversation because if you took the Packers pick, you're just gonna be like monologuing the whole time. I'm gonna be saying like, nice. But instead, you get to roast my ass. But I'm still going to allow you to talk as much as you want because I'm not going to do too much analysis here. We kind of know at this point, Cam Ward's the number one pick. The real conversation starts at pick number 2. So I'll leave that up to you.
And I'm assuming we're going full what we would do here.
You could do whatever you want. Yeah, I mean, it is what you would do because of the fact that, you can mention what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's so boring if you're just predicting it the whole time.
Agreed.
Just none of this wild card shit that I saw you with Mike. Great video, by the way. I love the concept, but I'm like, dude,
it's kind of tough to swallow. This isn't really a mock draft. It's more of just let's have a draft conversation in draft, mock draft format. But
I mean, that's what a collab is. At the end of the day, I thought it was fun. Because you ended up even having some third round guys that you had to talk about, and so. I mean, redirecting people to that video right now. I'm trying to do some marketing for you here, but it was a fun video. I thought it was a cool concept.
Appreciate it. I still got the deck of cards next to me if we need to break out any wild cards. No, I'm kidding. I've done that already.
Yeah, I'm like, if you're stuck, you could just pull one out and just be like, you want to do this shit?
Yeah, let's see. What should I do? Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
All right. So I'm going to take Travis Hunter. I do kind of struggle with it though, because it's like the idea of Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett, on opposite ends, is just terrifying. But I do like how Travis Hunter plugs in on both sides of the ball. Definitely a wide receiver. I like Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, but Travis Hunter's kind of that last missing piece as like a potential one.
Yeah,
see a lot of CeeDee Lamb in his game, if everything works out for him, just the fluid movements, the incredible ball skills, the run after catch stuff. So, like that. And then, corner, it's a decent spot because he doesn't have to play right away because they have some starters, but he can kind of ease into it a little bit more. So it's just, you can't really go wrong as long as you're not taking Shedeur with the second overall pick.
We'll talk about that as the episode goes on. So you're going to go Trav?
Yeah, I'll go Travis.
Okay. I mean, you think about it this way as well. Let's just say most likely early on, you're going to use him as a receiver. That receiving core, it's pretty much 2 guys deep at the moment, maybe 3 if you talk Jamari Thrash. But beyond that, long-term vision, if you really did want to draft him to be a corner, there's some contracts that are coming up. It is something to where if you genuinely want him to be the long-term corner and just need something short-term, you get a 2-for-1 deal. So I think it does really mitigate the risk where we're also in a really good edge class. I know that you've done an edge video as well. And I mean, the rankings are wildly different. So I'm excited to see how the NFL perceives certain roles. I know we're talking about David Walker, how his role is going to be perceived. Is he going to be actually looked at as good as, some people like yourself believe, or is he going to end up being, a 5th round pick? And if he's a 5th round pick value, right, that's a steal. Do you need to take Abdul at number 2 when you can end up getting legit, not saying 1-to-1, but you end up getting steals later on. But number 3,
you have Myles Garrett, you don't need to have a true number 1. You can get an actual number 2 on day 2 of the draft. So
right, exactly. You add that on top of it. So at number 3, though, if you can't trade out, which for the sake of this video, it's going to be an absolute fucking migraine if we end up starting to toss in trades. I think maybe
I don't mind tossing in trades if it makes sense.
You know what? Do you think it makes sense for the Giants to trade out with Abdul on the board, do you think that there would be a team that'd be ballsy enough to move and spend that capital to get up to 3? That's the first question. Like, is there a team?
So
there's interest for sure. I mean,
there's definitely, I mean, Carolina, like,
right.
um,
That's a spot for sure. Does
it's
it
interesting.
justify it? Right? Like, does it justify it? That pick jump right there, I assume you'd be asking for, well, I don't know if Dable's going to be able to have a job. I don't know if the future one's going to matter that much.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to be
probably
getting
gonna
something
get
good.
you probably get the Panthers second.
Right.
8 and 57.
Right.
And then
maybe like a next year.
realistically, probably a 2 next year.
Yeah. And the question is that worth it for Carolina?
Oh, man.
Like, I know that
so many needs.
Right. They have some legit needs. Carolina does. They have really good value to solve those issues as well. And for the Giants, who are you taking at 8? That's the next question you got to think. Like, with the drop off, you're giving up Abdul. Is there some, like, would you go Shadur at number 8? I know that, what we would do, probably not. But I think that the drop off, would I rather have Abdul or Shadur in 2 seconds?
Yeah.
I think the choice is pretty clear, especially with KT also potentially within a year or two looking at some money.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes sense. I'll end up sticking and picking with Abdul there. But it's a good conversation to have. It definitely is.
I'm glad we had the conversation. I feel like if I'm the Giants and I'm moving down, I want some sort of assurance somehow that I can still get Mason Graham, because I love how he fits with that D-line. Just putting him next to Dexter, and then you just have all 4 spots like perfectly plugged in. But if you move down to 8, like, you're probably not getting him, because I think Jacksonville, Raiders, Jets all probably could take him. So it's
they literally all could.
Like, maybe you just move down to 5, but Jacksonville doesn't need an edge. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how that would all play out. Even just switch with the Patriots at 4 even.
Right. But
could be
then the Patriots could literally look them in the eye and be like, why? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to move down and then lose out on the other player that you'd be interested in? Like,
the Giants would take Abdul Carter if they can't trade down. So you
fair.
take them. The Patriots call your bluff. You take them and say, "You want to do the trade now?"
Yeah. You know what? That'd be
NBA style.
That would be interesting. Like, how many teams have done that before? Where they genuinely like, you know what? Since you're playing hardball, fuck you. We're taking the player that you want.
I don't know.
I mean,
I think generally in the league, like, if you say you would take someone, there's like a wink, wink, like, okay, like, we believe you type of deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Interesting thought, nonetheless.
Yeah.
This one's going to be interesting too, but I know what you're going to do here.
Well, I always take McMillan. I always do, and it's just like someone really has to talk me out of this, because I have him as a real blue chip guy. He's in my top tier of prospects in this draft. I hear what everybody's saying. Oh, he might fall. His draft over under his 10th. And I'm like, okay, but what the hell else do you really want to do here? I think the O-line picks would be fine. They did bring in, didn't they sign some Band-Aid veteran left tackle?
Oh, I thought did they sign Morgan Moses?
No. They were working out, I thought, somebody, but they didn't end up signing him. But
I thought they brought on Moses.
They did bring in Moses on the right side, but I was thinking left tackle. Maybe they worked someone out and didn't.
They should try Tyron Smith, in my opinion. Like,
something like that.
Just like some type of Band-Aid, because not pretty at the moment. I mean,
for me, it's just such a gap between where I have McMillan and where I have Membu or Campbell, who are like right next to each other for me.
Could I pitch you? Like, could I at least give you a pitch on Genty? It's ballsy.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. It's ballsy.
Yeah. I think it's got to be either wide receiver or O-line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you gonna rock Mick?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Rock your guy, man. I was gonna take McMillan if you didn't at number 5. So, I mean, I respect it nonetheless. Have you ever thought about McMillan at 5 to the Jags?
I do it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Checks out.
Yeah.
Oh, because you have the odd picks usually, huh?
Yep.
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 Okay. So you already know what's good. So I was gonna say he's going in the top 5 regardless. For Jacksonville, gonna keep this short and sweet. It makes sense both from Cohen's perspective as well as Gladstone's. Like you look at the success of Kalijah Cansey, like explosive block shedder,
Mhm.
gap penetrator, love it. You look at Gladstone, Aaron Donald, Braden Fisk, gap penetrators, undersized, makes a lot of sense. It just you've seen it before. Don't fix something
Ain't
that ain't
broke,
broken.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm like, damn, I got fully twisted around. But I mean, it makes sense. And I know that they have a 2nd round pick there in Mason Smith, who's still developing as well. And they have Arik Armstead. Like there's talent already there. But if you're looking at someone who could be the guy there for the long haul, this gives you your best shot.
Yeah. All right. Raiders up at 6. Again, it's similar situation where it's like, okay, talk me out of Ashton Ginty here. Like, I'm kind of going at it from that perspective at this point. Like, what else
Right.
would actually sell me? Like, maybe Membu.
Okay.
Would be.
Are you
like,
a fan of Will Johnson?
I am a fan of Will Johnson. I
don't think he goes
just,
here. But
I
their corner core sucks, my guy. Like it's bad.
I think I'm just wired to stay away from corners that early, unless they are like, you know, like where I had like Stingley, for example, or Surtain. I don't quite have Will Johnson up in that territory.
Okay.
I don't think it's crazy though. Like if they took him there, I'd be like, oh yeah, like cool.
Yeah.
Because he's the number 10 player on my board. But
okay. I mean, that's a pretty solid range for him to go. I mean, you're technically above the consensus at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
On Johnson? Yeah,
Which
definitely.
I mean, don't even ask me, but it's just he's great.
I'd also definitely consider trade downs here as well.
Okay.
Um,
Who's worth trading up for? Membu, I would assume.
I was thinking maybe the Bears and Ginty.
Ooh. Okay.
You kind of do that hardball.
Well, outside of the Raiders, who else is threatening to get Ginty, in your opinion?
Dallas.
Yeah. You think Dallas would move up for Ginty?
Yeah.
But
I don't know that I necessarily want to go down below San Fran.
Right. Like I ended up doing a trade at number 6 myself as well. And the trade I proposed, the ownership doesn't love each other, but I had San Fran moving up to 6 to select Membu. They have a lot of picks. Thought it might have been an interesting idea based on the movement skills, the physicality, and the room for growth. But at the same time, you don't necessarily need to do that. There are a lot of offensive tackles that will still be good at number 11. So,
I control the Bears pick here, so I can technically do that.
I mean,
I want to do that. I've never done that. I want to do that.
All right.
Just to mix things up a little bit with something that could definitely happen because it is hardball. You are playing hardball. You get up the Bears on the phone and you're like, do you want Ginty? Because we're going to take him.
Yeah.
We're happy to move down and get some picks because we have other guys we like. But if you want them, come get them. I think.
What do you think it costs? Probably one of the seconds.
Yeah.
But
I think if I'm Chicago, I want like
something back.
68 back.
Ooh.
And then I'll give you like a third next year.
Okay, so would you say that they could pull out 41, keep 39, get 68, and then send a third next year?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Let's do it. Why not? I'm down. Bears move up and get Ashton Ginty. So I forget what your running back rankings were. Do you have Hampton at 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got Hampton as a top 20 guy in the draft. Or 20. Yeah, 17 on my big board. Yeah, I really like Hampton.
Yeah. Where do you have Ginty off the top of my head? Like
way up there. 6.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that the value difference is worth that move up then? Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as I like Hampton, there is a difference between like a back that you would take in the top 10 versus like a mid to late first
Right. Okay.
after all those
Yeah.
kind of like high end prospects are gone. Um,
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Hampton to death. So that's why I like to usually stick and pick with the Bears at 10 or even potentially move back depending on the antics of what I think Dallas will do for Hampton.
mhm,
But I mean, no one can complain about Genty in Dallas or Genty in Chicago. But I'm going to make this one also short and sweet. These are just quick, easy destination spots at the moment. If Membu gets to 7, I just call it in. That's just my favorite move. I know there's a big movement for Tyler Warren as well. And I'm not going to say that's a wrong move. I would just say I'd prefer to spend a first on an offensive tackle and a third on a tight end than vice
mhm.
versa.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Glad I get to pick for the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm curious. You're not a
So
Jalen Walker guy, so I do know this is not going to be the pick. So I like to see where
no,
you're going to go with this.
I know. And like in my first mock drafts that I was doing, like back when it was a cool thing to say like Shadur's not going to go in the top 8. Now it's
Mhm.
like everybody kind of knows it.
Yeah.
It was like, dang, if Shadur doesn't go, it sucks for the Panthers because
Mm,
you see the board almost always falls like this every single time
right.
where
I will
there's
say
no clear
this.
pick.
I don't know if this is they're not like super tuned in, but I talked to a particular player in the NFL and they're under the assumption Shedeur falls to the late first. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, I mean,
It makes sense, but
yeah,
I'm just saying like all these people saying, I know when I had Mike on, Rand Carthon ended up it was like right here when Rand Carthon said the Steelers were looking to trade up if Shedeur falls, past pick 8 or something like that.
yeah.
So I think that the narrative's shifting to what it should have.
What are you gonna do when you have Aaron Rodgers and Shador Sanders are your 2 quarterbacks heading into next year as a Steelers fan?
If we trade up, I'm gonna have I'm quitting YouTube. My brains will be the new paint on the wall. Like it's going to be an absolute hellscape for whoever has to clean up that mess. But I mean, if we stick and pick, it's like, it's pick
Yeah,
21, man. I would like that pick better than Kenny Pickett. Like I
yeah.
detested the Kenny Pickett pick.
I literally have the exact same grade on Shador
Oh
as I
yeah.
did on Kenny Pickett. Yeah, I think it's like the same.
Yeah. So it's like, again, doesn't move me, pisses me off a bit, but it's since I have him higher, it's like it's better than what we've done before. But if
Sure.
we give up draft capital for him, oh my fucking god, I will lose my shit. Like game over type shit. But
Give up a future first for him. Oh man.
I will be absolutely pissed. I mean, we don't even have a second round pick. Can you imagine trading up and then losing more draft
Oh
capital
yeah.
to get
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders? I'm like, guys, if we needed one piece and it was the quarterback spot, all right. We still got some pieces of the puzzle to put in. I hate to say it. By the way, since I'm letting you stall,
I was saying, keep talking because I am struggling with.
Yeah, no, that's what I saw your face. I'm like, all right, let's start talking here. What are your thoughts about TJ Watt and his little Tyreek Hill post, acting like Tyreek Hill, pretty much just trying to dip, not the assault part, but like just trying to
Wait,
dip
what?
No,
I missed this.
He's basically there. The rumors are that the contract is breaking down, and he posted on his Instagram story him doing a peace sign. In other words, it was the exact same timing as contract negotiations going south.
Wow.
So there's a strong rumor, and then Steve Palazzolo said it was a 3rd round pick for him. I'm like, man,
For TJ Watt?
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
seriously?
Yeah, dude,
I mean,
he had a
at this
down
age,
year, and you have to pay him
40.
like what, $38 million coming off the year he just did. I'm not rushing to the table to do that.
So why doesn't Washington try to do that?
He's already 31.
Yeah,
He turns 31 this year.
I was at least expecting maybe I've just lost my mind in terms of the valuation of picks. I will just say, man, no, I like JT Tuimoloau. I was going to say JT Tuimoloau, regardless of his age, is not going to be worth the same as a TJ Watt, even for 3 years. But
No, of course not. But it's the $40 million
$40
of cap
mil,
space
yeah.
that you use elsewhere.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Honestly, the
Yeah.
team I'm picking with right now would be a great team to go
Ooh,
get a guy like TJ Watt.
that would be
Um,
crazy.
it would have to be, I feel like someone that, if it comes down to money for Watt, I feel like it
Yeah.
would have to be, one of those teams that's just like a New England or Carolina, someone that can make it work.
Mm. What are the state taxes like in North Carolina since you've been there?
5.5%. So
It's
it could
been
be
worse.
worse.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
worse.
could be worse.
All right, like thinking of money. Hey, we're going to talk about that. It does play a factor. Does play a
Yep,
factor.
it definitely does.
All right.
All
So,
right.
what are the options you're looking at here? Maybe we can have this discussion because it is a tough pick. It's a very tough selection.
So can I call you Chris Greer?
The Dolphins are. What would Chris Greer want to move up for?
I was thinking Will Campbell.
You think he could value? Do you think he's going to give up on his second round pick, Patrick Paul?
No, Armstead retired. You see that?
Well, I know Patrick Paul's there. That's why they drafted him in the second.
Oh, yeah. Well, you still got Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg slated as starters right now.
Listen, I don't say that they're bulletproof, but for the cost of a move up,
Okay.
I don't want to piss on your bonfire. I just don't think Greer values left guard all that much.
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't want to,
All right. I thought I had to shoot my shot for a trade down because that's what I would prefer to do, but I'm going to stick and pick.
Maybe hold on. I'm going to call up with San Francisco
to get ahead of Saints and
the
Raiders.
Saints and the Raiders because I want to go after Will Johnson
with the Niners, huh?
Mm-hmm. I don't trust their boundary corner spot. Who they have as their boundary corner too? I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but it's someone who's not good. Because I ended up arguing with somebody about this recently. I mean, you could even move up for Will Campbell if you wanted to, but
yeah.
I mean, regardless, I prefer to have the selection rather than dealing with that. And the Niners have a good amount of picks.
All right.
Would you pick it up? All right.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to do it. For 8 to 11, do you think that's what? Pick 100, a little bit higher than that, right? 75?
Yeah. 75. Yeah. And because I'm a nice person, I'll give you 230 back. You can go find the next Brock Purdy with pick 230.
We'll give you 252 in return just to be nice and sweet. Give you guys a little bit, give your fans something to look forward to in the 7th round. But yeah, I mean, the Niners, you have your pick of the litter here. The dream would be to get Membu, but that's just not gonna happen here. Sneaky pick Tyler Warren, but I just don't, this as well, studying the cornerback class, it takes a fucking nosedive on after round 2, like a nosedive. So unless you're spending your 2nd round pick on corner, which you could talk about Zaire Thomas, move him back with, it's going to be such a cute story with Renardo Green. They honestly didn't really start together either. So not that cute of a story, but unless you're doing that, which you're still banking on that happening, which I know you're not a big Azaria guy, it's even more to the point. You have to hit it early. I trust developing or hitting on the guard spot in round 2 and beyond far more than hitting on that boundary corner spot. And it's pretty damn dire.
Okay. I will let you have at it with your commenters on that one. Because I don't know. I feel like trenches for the Niners all the way, but
I mean, absolutely could be, but also with Walter Nolan being suggested as slipping.
That's true.
And then they have so many picks as well, dude. I mean, I could totally see them manipulating it, trying to pull a Howie and, making shit happen. So I like the idea of them manipulating the board wherever and whenever.
Okay. So you pick here, and then I'll just take Carolina back at 11.
Okay. That's valid. Perfectly valid. So I'm curious what you would want to do here for the Saints, because deep down, I still think Tyler Warren with Kellen Moore is just an absolute slam dunk. A lot of people are talking about Shadir. I'm not. You like that shit?
That's nice. That's nice. It rolls right off the tongue.
It does. It does. I personally love the idea of them going, again, if Armand Membu somehow slips here, that's my dream pick for him. I think him and Tolly work really, really well together. I don't really see that with anything outside of maybe Kelvin Banks in terms of the physicality with their play. I just don't think Will Campbell, to me, is a New Orleans Saint. maybe that means he will be because I just reverse jinxed the hell out of myself. But I mean, what are you looking at this pick? Because my dream is.
I guess my question is, why do you not think Will Campbell will be a New Orleans Saint? What's the
so
a gut feeling or an arm length thing or what?
It's a combination. So my biggest issue with Will Campbell is, funnily enough, his spatial awareness. I think he gets beat inside way too often. Doesn't really understand where the pocket is, and that bothers me. And then when you look at the way that the one tackle that works is built in Talifuaga, it doesn't match Will Campbell in any way, shape, or form. Like I want someone to be like Arianti Ursary. That's a dream second round pick for me right there. Like someone who has that mobility and physicality. And again, similar to why I love Membu to the Jets, it's almost a similar arc in terms of progression and development. That takes a lot of stress off my offensive line coach and allows it to be a lot more linear of a development curve. That's just a long-winded way of saying I think they're a little bit too far apart. Doesn't really fit in terms of making the most out of what you already have. Okay. So I would go Banks or probably Warren here. Outside of that, so you're a Will Campbell guy at this spot, then I assume, right?
Yeah, I like Banks too. So don't let me deter you. I mean, I've got Banks 15th on my board and Campbell 12th on my board, and their grades are like right next to each other. So like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, they're both really good players. I actually do think Banks is going to go higher than expected. And so I'm going to go after Kelvin Banks here at 9.
Okay. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
All right. So the Raiders where I traded down.
Yes, sir.
I think
you gave up Genty for this. Make it work.
I gave up Genty. Yep. I guess I wasn't anticipating the Will Johnson jump. So that definitely throws he was definitely one of my
targets
options here.
Yeah. I mean, it did get a little dire, like really quickly. You want to pull the Trev and go Tyler Warren?
He was having a fun time joking about that. I will defend Trevor. I don't think it's crazy.
Oh, I don't either. If you're losing Michael Mayer, the spot's there. He ended up talking about it on our mock draft. So, I mean, like, I love the balls and the cojones to talk about a vision like that most people will say, hell no. But
yeah, I don't think that's the direction I'm going to go there. But I will defend Trevor that Brock Bowers isn't really a tight end. Like
he's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren, if anything, actually allows you to feature Brock Bowers even more and not have to ask him to do stuff he's not as good at. So
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be in favor of Trev here. I would personally support the move if they move back. Like in this situation, I'd be like, do it.
Yeah. It's definitely standing out to me right now.
I know. I'm like, damn, like straight up, we both convinced. I bring it up and I'm like, you know what? Shit, this actually kind of works. I already know the Raiders fans are like, even the dead ones are turning in their grave thinking about this pick. But I mean, what, you get an extra 2 and it was a 2 and a next year 3, and you get to use Brock Bowers more.
I'm taking Luther Burden.
Huh? Yep. That's a curveball. You gotta explain that one, homie.
I mean, I think while it allows you to use Bowers more, I don't know that you're getting the most out of Warren as the 10th pick in that situation. So
okay,
I still think you can find other options to be a true starting tight end.
Right.
I think Burden gives them real juice that they don't have in that group. You've got Bowers and you've got Myers as like short to intermediate dominant pieces. But I think Burden gives you a deep threat. He gives you run after catch ability. Just allows you to complete that room. And I love Burden. I don't understand the fall on him. He's my number 8 player.
Oh wow!
Like, I think he's DJ Moore. Like, I think he's awesome.
So, yeah, I'm a little bit. I mean, you and I differ in terms of how we probably evaluate receivers, which is why there might be a discrepancy between the two. I don't know. I just didn't. I never thought he was a good route runner, but everything you said that his assets were, I totally agree with. I think his ball tracking, pause, but like the tracking deep, probably the best in the class. Like he
Exactly.
genuinely knows exactly where the ball is going to be, which is a legitimate asset. And then after the catch, he is very, very dynamic. So in terms of the role in that offense, I could totally see it. I think maybe holistically, I don't value it maybe as much as I should.
Well, and
Like,
remember, DJ Moore went like 25th. He was super young
right.
and like wasn't quite as polished as a route runner, and it
Yep.
came along. Even to this day, I don't know that I would say DJ Moore is like the most polished route runner, but
Mm.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still a big
Yeah.
believer in Burden.
Okay. And you are also still on the clock for
Mm.
11 and 12.
And I
So,
would have taken Burden here
mm,
after the trade down. So I'm between either Warren, which it's nice to see him still there at 11.
right.
You could go defense, and we could go Matthew Golden out of Texas is another
This is
guy in
true.
consideration for me. This is just such a more comfortable situation for the Panthers than to have to take a guy at 8 because
Right.
it's all the same guys that I was thinking about.
This is true. Would you prefer moving like if we ended up exercising that trade with the Giants, would you have preferred the outcome with that trade up or this trade back?
Mm, I think this.
Yeah.
I think they just have so many needs
Yeah.
on offense and defense.
Trade your third for TJ Watt. Not talk about playing
You
3 deep
could.
guys. Yeah, I mean like
Yeah.
flip San Fran's pick for that. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be nice. I do like the vision of Mike Green there.
Hmm. That's the most popular selection for him right now.
And you moved down, if you're taking a character risk guy, you get it outside the top 10. I think it just feels a little bit better. So yeah, I'm gonna go Mike Green.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know how to still like I'm still evaluating how much I should care about situations like this that are very muddied. And it's gotten to the point where, especially because it's not like certain or anything, like it's not certain that he did
Yeah.
actually do something at UVA. Like I'm like, I will trust NFL PIs and I will look at this in retrospect rather than forward looking. But at least
Yeah.
with Isaiah Bond, you don't have to. You gotta throw that in there. Oh man. I mean, shout out to Fresco.
I think with Green, like the way I look at it is where there's smoke, there's fire. He probably did something really stupid.
Yeah.
But it's been a couple of years,
Mhm.
and I feel like he's focused and has learned. It's kind of like Joe
Yeah.
Mixon, where it's like you don't excuse what he did, but
Right.
at least if it's comparing that to like maybe maturity concerns, and this is obviously all speculation, and I don't even need to
All we
affiliate
do.
names to maturity concerns, but
Mhm.
if it's okay, he did some really stupid stuff 3 years ago, but he's actually like his football character is really high. I
Yeah.
think if I'm drafting the player, that makes me feel better about it,
Mm.
as opposed to like, oh, this guy maybe doesn't practice as hard, or he's not as
Right.
hard of a worker or whatever. Like,
Right.
yeah,
No, I mean 100%. And I wonder how much you value this as well. Because there is somebody who has the same initials as Joey Porter Jr. that I assume we're referencing.
yeah,
And I don't know if like I've been a huge supporter of him for a while. He was my number 2 player until I found out about all this stuff. When I watched his interviews, something just doesn't click to me.
Mm.
And it's like it makes sense. And then I had somebody hit me up who was like on the team and gave a lot of context saying he wasn't even at practice and stuff. I'm like,
yeah,
ooh, interesting. So I agree with that. Like I felt a lot more of a negative knee jerk reaction to that than something where it's like, we don't know all the facts.
yeah.
Some things are, yeah. But you're still on the board, by the way, with the Cowboys.
All
They have
right,
a little stretch here.
yeah. Okay, so I get to pick between Will Campbell and Matthew Golden here.
Yeah.
That's a good problem to have for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how Golden fits in there.
Yeah.
Like the number one thing I hear people criticizing on Golden is that he might not be a number one. Well, you don't need him to be here. You got CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
I feel like Golden makes a bigger impact on this team than Will Campbell.
I mean, yeah. Would you use Will Campbell as a guard or the left tackle and kick Tyler Guyton to right?
I mean, he's probably playing right guard if you take him.
Ooh, okay. So my vision for him was have him left tackle, put Tyler Guyton back to his native position at right tackle, and tell Terrence Steele to fuck off.
I mean, honestly, I would put Tyler Guyton on the bench.
Come on, man. You gotta give that guy a little bit of credit.
I thought he was so bad, dude. I thought that was such a bad
He
pick.
was a raw right tackle. They moved to left. That's why I was not a fan of the pick. I was like, come on, guys. Like,
yeah.
It's you.
I think it's just a lot more clean to just take Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
You've already kind of dug yourself into the Tyler Guyton experience here. So
yeah,
it is probably a little eager to give up on that.
Right.
Because honestly, if I take Will Campbell and just kind of let the competition play out, I'm betting that Guyton does not win a starting job. And then maybe Guyton in time becomes your right tackle.
Yeah.
Over Terrence Steele, which is not a bad situation.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's just a lot more clean to just take Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
And plug him in with CD and just start cooking.
Yeah.
Dak has always been a guy that needs two receivers.
For sure. I mean, that receiving core, as much as I love guys like Ryan Flournoy, Jalen Tolbert. Let's be real. I mean, like, for fuck's sake. Yeah, like, come on. Like, let's be real. All right, 13 with the Dolphins. You asked me to trade up for this player. I said, no, screw you. That's because he ends up falling here. I'm going to go Will Campbell here because of, I mean, it's too easy. Yeah. It's
and then this one too, Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Colts. It's just like it's one of those picks I just feel bad for Colts fans because they're just not getting mock draft analysis this year if Tyler Warren's there.
All right.
But if you weren't there. Perfect.
If you weren't there. For the Colts fans who are
sure
electing to listen to us yap about random shit, what are the options? Like, Mallet, do you think that safety still could be an option? They have Bynum there, but
I don't.
Yeah, I don't
think they like Nick Cross, and I think they should like Nick Cross.
I do agree. I love Nick Cross.
20 years old when he got drafted, and he's been developing. Contract year was good last year. I think his trajectory is nice. You got Bynum. I don't think safety there, and they're not really a 3 safety with
Lou.
With Lou, he likes 2 safeties that are versatile, but he's not really a 3 safety guy.
Right.
So I would say probably.
Would you look at
Jahad Campbell?
Yeah, Jahad.
Or this is where the Gray Zabel conversation starts too, I think.
Ooh, he's such a good fit, dude.
Yeah.
Like it just matches the athletic profile of Gonçalves as well as Bortolini. Like that's a big win for me. Would you consider edge at this spot with guys like Michael, even Shamar? You're talking about, even though he's labeled as raw, the athletic physical traits kind of give him a really good floor too.
I think Mike Green is the only one I would think about if he was there. I would actually lean, if I was going D-line, I'd probably go interior.
Okay.
And go with either Harmon or Walter Nolan, who I'm actually even higher on.
So let me bounce this question back on you, because there's a lot of conversation about immaturity with Nolan right now. Does that bother you? It shouldn't be the same way that JPJ, it's like very, very explicit right now.
Yeah.
Like very out in the open. There's not enough sources out there saying Walter Nolan did this, he did that. Like, to me, it almost is smoke. Like, where there's smoke, there might be some fire. But I think that right now, maybe some teams are manipulating it to make it sound like a wildfire when it's just a brush fire. Like, what are your thoughts on that and how?
I don't have too many takes on it. I know I commented on your tweet. I was like, it's because he went to Ole Miss. Of course, he's got character concerns.
I did see that. was like, all
Total
right.
joke. Total
Yes.
joke. I don't believe that. But the only comment I have is like I did watch his like all the NFL.com like combine
Yeah.
pages on the internet have like a good little interview that they were
Right.
doing. Have you seen those on there?
I
Like,
mean, they pop up when you look at their combine profile. So yeah.
right. So I watched his, and
Mhm.
he does seem maybe a little bit like more soft spoken and like
Mhm.
maybe just kind of that type of deal where maybe he is a little bit more of a quiet. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
just talking out of my ass here, but he got a hell of a lot better from year 2 to year 3. I feel
Right.
like he showed he's a guy that he takes care of his body, he works hard.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
thought you
think
got better in the
you
offseason
do
too.
want to see him at some point like try more moves because right
Sure.
now it's like he's able to win with just the rip and the power and the torque.
Right.
So at some point, yeah, you do want to see him show like he can start to develop more of a pass rush plan. But
Like
I'm
JJ
I'm willing to
Piggy.
bet. What
Have you
JJ
watched,
McGee?
dude?
Oh
Have you
yeah,
watched?
yeah. I
Like,
like him. He's fun.
dude, he straight up is so antithetical to his body. He'll like have the most beautiful, quick, polished spin move you'll ever see, and he moves like 2 miles per hour. I'm like, what the hell? This
He is
just doesn't
weird.
make any sense. Oh,
Yeah.
he's funny. He's funny as hell. All right.
I unironically like him as a fullback. Like,
He wouldn't be a bad one, man. I'm telling you.
yeah.
Okay, but I'm up here with the Falcons. I totally forgot that I was the one who was up. We're just in the meat of the conversation, so to speak. I'm gonna go Jalen Walker. It fits Ulbricht's system. Stand up linebacker who can also play outside. I know that you're not as high on him, but I think that this is not only a realistic floor for him, but also, I mean, they brought a shit ton of staff to the Georgia Pro Day. Like,
Yeah.
it looks like they're looking at minimum of somebody, and I think Jalen Walker, if he's there, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy.
He's like, I just think it sucks. 7th round grade. That's crazy, dude. You think he's UDFA, man?
All right, Trevor. All right, Connor.
You know what? I'll take that
Okay.
as a compliment. I'll take that.
Cardinals fans get mad at me when I take Gray Zabel, and I want to
get
just
mad at
smack him
everything.
in the face.
I love my Cardinals fans, dude. They'll get mad at any pick that you make. And I love y'all. But it's like,
I just don't get why we as a draft community have like just ignored the offense and acted like it's totally good to go.
right.
Like, do you agree with that? Like, I almost never see offense round 1 for Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Dude, my last draft, or might have been one draft ago, I went Josh Simmons because the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Like, and the right tackle experience. Like, it just, I think offensive line is severely underrated as a need.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, Jesus, you're one injury away from Royce Newman playing. I promise you. I promise you do not want that. He is so bad. How is he still in the league? Holy shit.
All right. Hey, another Ole Miss guy, right?
Yeah.
Character concerns.
And another freaking Brian Gutekunst takes a guy 3 rounds higher than he should out of the SEC. 4th round pick. Right there. Oh my God.
Ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure the other spot that you're looking, if I'm going to guess it, would be Walter Nolan because they're pursuing Milton so heavily. Like,
yep.
I would say probably that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think they've done enough defensively where like, I almost think offense is like more of a need for them. Like their D line is good. The linebackers, obviously, like you could take Jahad Campbell for sure. I don't know that that's necessarily the direction I would go there. Their secondary is kind of fun. Like they've invested in all these guys. Like Garrett Williams is a star in the making. And then you've got, you got Max Melton and Elijah Jones. Sean Murphy-Bunting's still there.
Yep.
I do like Will Johnson if he were here.
Yeah.
He's not.
I don't know if you heard that. I have a pet rabbit, like a wild one, cottontail rabbit.
Me that.
Dude.
Yeah.
My apartment's doing inspections right now. So I have them like covered up in my bedroom so that like they don't just like lurk in here.
Yeah.
Apologies. It's honestly, it's Twitter's fault. They voted for me to keep them. So if people suffer, it's your own doing.
Oh, that's crazy.
All right. Well,
but Yeah, I'm going to take Gray Zabel.
I have Gray as a top 10 player.
Yeah, and I don't think it's nuts.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I just think people have gotten prospect fatigue now. They got excited during the Senior Bowl, and then it's like the dopamine wore off, and it's just like now they think of him as, he's a good interior offensive lineman.
No, he's a great one.
This guy was literally arguably the best player at the fucking Senior Bowl, man. Like, he was dominant.
Yeah.
Regardless, Cincinnati, debating just looking at Malachi Starks here, I know how valuable quality safety play is for Al Golden. Like, it's a big deal. Now, you could wait till round 2, end up getting his own guy in Xavier Watts. I don't think that is a bad move. I think Jihad Campbell's a horrific move because Jihad needs to be used a lot of times as a blitzer. You look at the linebackers from Notre Dame that worked out well. None of them are close to Jihad. Don't do that. But I think you'll agree, edge rusher, kind of a big deal. And there's a lot of good ones. I would counter, even though I do go edge often in the first, there's some good edge rushers there in round 2 as well. Really good ones. I'm going to go with my own curveball here. Technically, the biggest curveball could be like going after offensive line because I still think that ain't pretty either. But Al Golden's going to get a very high floor player here in Malachi Starks. The safety core, I don't think, is remotely close to where it should be talent-wise for it to be successful at the rate that the Bengals need it to be.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. You just got to make sure you nail your day 2 D-line picks, but there's room to do that in this draft for sure.
Yeah. And
all right.
Worst case scenario, you get R.J. Oben in the 8th round. No, R.J. Oben's Notre Dame edge. It was with Al Golden.
But, okay. I haven't watched
Murphy,
them yet. I
have faith. Worst case scenario, you have a first round edge that's absolutely sucked.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart.
That's
hurt.
That's honestly kind of the comp on Shamar Stewart is what Miles Murphy is doing right now. It's a name that's been that I totally forgot existed. And I was like, oh yeah, he was kind of the last freaky first round guy that hasn't done anything.
Huh. That was a little diss right there. Oh man.
Shamar Stewart is such a bad football player.
He is. I mean, I don't. We don't need to get too you're talking about pissing off some of the other fan bases. The Shamar Stewart. I told you about this. I was like, with the Shadur cult, the Shamar Stewart cult.
I've seen it.
It's insane.
They think he's a better athlete than Abdul Carter. I'm like, you're smoking crack.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because he's big. Like they adjust it. It's like
he's 7 pounds, weighed in 7 pounds heavier than Abdul Carter at the combine.
To be fair, Abdul did not test. I will say.
Yeah.
Abdul could have added some extra Philly cheesesteaks that got him up to that 260.
Right.
You never know.
Still moved better than Shamar Stewart.
All
right. Seattle at 18. The funny thing too is whenever you take Gray Zabel early, teams like Seattle are always pissed, because they could use guard help.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, if you take Gray Zabel to the Seahawks, you will hear the Seahawks fans getting pissed about taking Gray Zabel. It's only when you don't take him, when he's not there, is when you hear the Zabel fans come out.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. It's an
Seattle
indictment.
becomes pretty tough.
Yeah. If Jihad didn't get his shoulder surgery, man, I think I would love it.
Yep. Even with it, I think it's in play.
Sure.
I'm also really upset that I took those 2 wide receivers in Golden and Burden because I think those would be great here. You don't take a Igbuka.
No. I mean, I wish the Seahawks honestly had less draft capital.
So they could trade down.
So they could trade down, get someone like Trey Amos or something. Like that boundary corner 2 spot to me also could use a little bit of a boost.
So 2 takes.
Okay.
On that point, I think they're going to be a potential trade up for Will Johnson team.
I agree.
Because of the Michigan connection there.
I agree.
And that secondary with Will Johnson would just be insane. So that's take number 1. Take number 2, and it's probably not worth our time to go through the whole process, but I think a trade down for a Shadur with Cleveland, and then and then Seattle comes back up with like Minnesota or something. We could do it.
I got
Should we
you
do it?
here. Yeah,
All
fuck
right.
it. Yeah.
We can do it quick because we know what the Shedeur trade would mostly look like.
Right.
I
Hell
think it's
yeah.
a 1 next year.
A 1 next year? It's just a
I think
straight
it's
up?
just 33 and a 1.
I I kinda like that. They don't need picks this year, so that's the way I would
Yeah.
approach that
And it gives
situation as well.
Seattle a little insurance if
Yeah.
Darnold stinks to have
Mm,
another 1 next year. I think Cleveland's desperate enough to do it.
I like that. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Cleveland does it, and they're technically jumping the Steelers as well. So,
Right.
you also talk about the fact that you jump your in-division rival. I get it.
Yep. Yep.
And you pair him up
Oh,
with Trav. That's the vision that I want. Whatever
yeah.
team, Giants or Browns, that gets Trav, I want them to move up for Shedeur.
Yeah. So I really like that.
Yeah.
And then I think, yeah, trade back up with Minnesota when we get there.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That all kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
You're
this
up.
is me. Yeah. Tampa. I'm debating Jihad here because honestly, he doesn't need to instantly start. I love Todd Bowles. I think Todd Bowles would love Jihad. And they were the first team to sign a free agent, and that free agent was Hassan Reddick of all people, which I think is not a too shabby of a comp if you want to move Jihad as a potential edge rusher, which I think, hot take, he'd be best at. But even if he's not, you have that need in the linebacking room. Linebacker matters a lot. I'm going to end up going back to Jihad.
Yep. Okay, Denver at 20. Marion Hampton is like something I love for them.
Yeah.
Especially with like Burden gone.
Mm.
I mean, Loveland would be nice too.
They did bring in Ingram. Do you think that that would stop them?
No. I have had a take. I am done calling Evan Ingram a tight end on my channel. I'm calling him a slot wide receiver. Like,
okay,
when I do my receiver rankings and everything, I'm just going to have him in there. Like, he's not a tight end, and he won't be in this. Anybody that's watched a Sean Payton offense the last 10 years, you know, he has that big slot role.
Right.
Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham, like, they're not tight ends. They are slot wide receivers. So if he's playing tight end, it's in 12 personnel as a wing player.
Yeah.
So they still need a tight end.
Do you think Loveland would be built to play a primary tight end role?
I project him as someone that can get there. Like, I think he's good enough as an inline blocker in his technique and mentality.
It's not a lost cause.
And he's 20 years old. Like, I think he's trying to get there. So
okay.
I want to get him up to like 255 with his length.
Yeah.
So that's the hope there. But I do like Hampton better. But
are you sure about that?
Don't plug it in yet. Yes, don't plug it in yet. I'm thinking.
I'm waiting as long as I can.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I want Amari and Hampton to my Steelers. I'm getting greedy here. I'm gonna see if you end up screwing me over, though. I wouldn't blame you if you did. It's probably the right pick.
It's a nice offensive line. You talk about like the running back should be something you drop in on top of a good offensive line, and as opposed to asking the back to elevate a run game.
Right.
They just don't have backs.
Yeah. Almost like they're waiting. Do you think that there's a higher chance that Amarian gets to 20 or is taken at 10?
I think there's a better chance he gets to 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm going to take Hampton.
I expected it. Honestly, after I ended up doing that pity plea, I'm like, no, I don't deserve it. I should have been excited with what came my way instead of begged for it. So Steelers, if I ended up wanting to have a trade where we ended up like sending our beloved TJ away, edge is not out of the realm of possibility. Granted, I always say stick to your strengths, and we draft edge pretty damn well no matter where we draft them. So not going to see that as big of an issue. I will say, where's your opinion on Kenneth Grant? I thought he was like DI3 for you.
Yeah, he's 4 after Nolan and Harmon.
Got it. Like,
I got a late 1, early 2. Like, I think he's
right.
He's a good prospect. I'm not like
not
terrified of him, but I'm not like obsessed with him either.
I'm more on the downside of KG, but on top of that, for the Steelers, quarterback down the line, I totally forgot. We actually moved up for Shadur, God bless. So I don't even have to talk about that shit. But I do think we need, with Kenneth Grant, this is probably his best landing spot. Just that's my honest opinion. You have great mentorship there with Cam, who's at the top of his game, even when he's old. But you also have Keanu Benton there. Like you don't need him to be the end all be all off the bat. And I think I'd be willing to take that risk. The only other name I'd probably toss in here, even though I know you and I both are much lower on him, is Jade. Because, I mean, in the nickel, it'd work. I mean, we don't need it as desperately as what I think some people think. But you know what?
I'm just so wired to go with a lineman, over, like either offensive or defense, over a slot player, like with this pick, you know?
Right. Offensive line-wise, what would you be looking at?
No, I just mean like generally speaking, as it refers to Jade Barron, like I just would gravitate towards taking
in general. You would look at French
over a slot corner. Yeah,
I mean, I'm the exact same mindset. I'm gonna go KG. I'll go KG. You can't go wrong, in my opinion, because I think we have big needs at positions that have a lot of value at that spot. So I think it ends up working out.
Yeah, it's a great spot for him because he just needs to learn how to play like a nose tackle more consistently. When he decides to do it, it's awesome.
Right.
So I think Pittsburgh's a great spot to get that out of him for sure.
If I wanted to extend this like another 30 minutes, I would end up trading back with the Steelers and seeing what could happen. But let's keep it a little bit more simple. We're already fucking shit up with trades, and I never expected that.
I like all the trades we've done though.
I do. Honestly, it's a good twist.
Except for your Niners trade. Yuck.
Come on, man. It was good. It was a good trade up front.
After I got to 10 with the Raiders and wanted Will Johnson,
you got pissed.
Better for the Niners. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why I did it. I was like, I was debating taking it for 9 and then 10. And I'm like, all right, at this point, you got to make it jump. What are you doing for LA?
Those last 2 picks really screw LA up. But I think you take Loveland.
Yeah.
As your third break glass in case of emergency. Like any of those last 3 players for the Chargers make so much sense.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's just such a boring pick at this point because it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
As I was watching the Chargers last year, like every game, my takeaway was another wide receiver would be nice, but I really felt like a tight end was something they were missing.
Right.
Just obviously being a Greg Roman offense, like they systematically want a difference maker at that position.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, like Ladd is Ladd, and then you put in Loveland as kind of number 2, and then all of a sudden, like, okay, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston as 3 and 4. Like I can get behind those guys a little bit more.
Right.
In that
spot, so. I mean, you don't need to sell me on it. I think it's a great move. I've actually had I know the Chiefs shouldn't do this, but I've had the Chiefs move up with the Steelers to jump right in front of the Chargers to take Loveland to give the biggest middle finger possible to Harbaugh. But I mean, you know me, I like being a dick from time to time. So
that would be being a dick.
That's like a massive dick move. Now, I'm wondering if I could bring that same energy with this pick here. Like for the Packers, I'm a big sucker for storylines. So I look at Ezeraku. I love the idea of putting him back with Hafley. That being said, I also don't think Donovan Ezeraku would be the same player statistically this year with the way that he jumped. He did take a big step once Hafley was gone. So it's a catch-22. Like, can we attribute that to a new system or just development? If it's just development, makes a lot of sense. If it's not, then probably not best to put him in a system that he didn't do as well in. Now, we could just do the standard Packer thing, which is take a Georgia player who's raw, extremely high at a position of need. That's not a bad idea. But I want to pose something else that's going to piss you off.
I'm just letting you talk, and then I'm going to chime in.
I know. Boundary corner is, in my opinion, still something to solve. And you still kind of lack legitimate size. Trey Amos is an absolute SEC savage who runs a 4.43. Not the most explosive guy on planet Earth with a 1.6 10-yard split, but at the same time, That's not his game. His game is physicality. He gets his hand right there in the passing lane. My comp for him actually was the guy who I wanted the Packers to draft eons ago in Tyson Campbell. So I'm thinking Trey Amos would be my pick here. I'd want it to be via trade back, but you guys stick and pick. The corner class is not that good after round 1 or early 2. What are your thoughts?
I like it. I think you did good.
No shit.
Good. Yeah.
Are you sure?
He's actually the guy. If we don't go receiver, he's probably the guy I want the most.
Yeah. I mean, another easy option would be Ibuka, but I want to go Amos.
See, I think you're regressing. No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on. Who would you look
I
at?
just don't think Ibuka is necessarily what they need round 1.
That's
like, I think you got Jaden Reed. For me, it's like,
are you
Burden, Golden, and Jaden Higgins, like the outside wide receivers.
Bless. Okay, I love that. I didn't know you came around to Higgins. I remember we were talking.
I've always been around on Higgins.
I remember you asked me, what was it? It wasn't Haberdasher. Was it like Alchemy or something? Like,
before I ever watched a snap of.
Yeah,
I guess I had just watched. Like, I think I asked you, how fast do you think he is?
Yeah, I said 4.5 flat, and it was like, you're like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think I questioned you on it, did I?
Well, I mean, again, I don't think you were in a position to question because you hadn't watched him yet. But it was like,
right.
It was just still like, it's good to see from questioning initially to end result.
Yeah,
I have Higgins higher than Ibuka, so
I have Ibuka 18, but Higgins 21.
Oh, I mean, again, different roles.
Yeah. But no, I like the Amos pick. I do. I think if you think you can get wide receiver round 2, that's totally fine. I much rather would go corner than D-line. The D-line picks drive me crazy. I just think they've invested so much in that group. They fired their edge coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Lucas Van Ness was never going to be good in his first year. Year 2 was supposed to be learning curves, and he had those. He was like 19th in pass rush win rate in the second half of the year. So, like, there was at least something to hang your hat on and be like, okay, maybe. I'm not even going to sit here and say he's definitely going to work out, but I feel like you got Gary, you got Van Ness, you got Enikbari. Like, that's a nice 1, 2, 3. Like, you could do
a good steal
worse
as well, right? Like, Enikbari in 5th round. Like, what a steal.
Yeah,
should never have gone there.
And then the interior D line, I think, is just like straight up pretty good. Like, I think they could add to it, but when wide receiver and corner are such damning needs for you, I just can't get behind investing in the D line this year.
Agreed.
Especially when it's such a deep class.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
But it does, I will say this, it does look like I'll say this, and then tomorrow they're going to release him, but it actually is trending towards they're working things out with Jair, at least for the year.
Right.
So, because I think they're looking at it like, this cornerback class isn't good.
Yeah.
Like, we save $5 million of cap space if we release you, and no one's sending us a pick for him. So, like, what is it? Yeah. What does releasing you do for us?
Right.
So, could see them working it out.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do that little trade real quick with Seattle?
Yeah. Yeah. What pick do you think it would end up being? Or do you think it would be a combination like 137, 175 or something like that?
I feel like
I almost would be aiming for quantity.
92 from Detroit probably is what it would be.
Just like straight up?
Extra. Yeah. I think that's probably pretty close.
We'll be nice and toss in 234.
Well, yeah, if you're the Vikings, you definitely want a couple of those for your rookie contracts there. Yeah. So,
all right.
I like it.
Send it in. I mean, it wouldn't matter if I toss in an extra pick anyways.
We just got to remember to make Minnesota's pick.
Yes. I mean, I know that Garrett would be crucifying me if we didn't do that, if you watch this whole thing just for that to end. But since Seattle, I believe, was your pick as well, what are you looking at here?
Sure. I wasn't prepared to.
I know. I was. Like, we were still like locked into just like, okay, well, that was the idea. Let's execute the idea.
Yeah. Now we have to execute.
Now we have to find another way.
Execute it. Like, who did we actually want to trade up for? Like, was this stupid? We were so locked into trading up. It's like, wait, is there anybody worth trading up for? Or should we have just stayed at 33?
It's so funny seeing the difference between us talking about the trade at 3 and all these other trades that we talked about in such depth. And then like for Minnesota, we're like, yeah, fuck it. We already said we were going to do it.
Yeah. No, I think there is actually someone I would trade up for, and that's Jaden Higgins, who we were just talking about.
Ooh.
Yep. He's the number 21 player on my board. You need outside wide receiver help. You know, you have Cup and you have JSN, obviously, but yeah, you need some outside wide receiver help. That's not MVS.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm totally down with that. And
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he ends up going. Like, I don't think you needed to. There's probably going to be some people like, why would you trade up for Higgins? You can get him at 33. I don't think that's necessarily
not
true. I think Detroit, Washington, other teams calling to trade up.
Even. Like Baltimore.
Yeah. Like, I think Higgins is very much in play to be a first round pick.
I will just say Higgins is number 13 on my board. So I fully support it.
There you go.
But Higgins was top 10 for me coming into the year. So like it's just like
Good call.
Thank you. I hated it because I was like, damn, this is gonna be Xavier Hutchinson all over again. Because I was a big Xavier Hutchinson guy. And that bit me in the ass big time. But when I saw him test at the combine, I'm like, I'm not that shit at evaluating receivers except for Jack Besh. But number 25 for Houston, I think they've piecemealed the offensive line together for the most part to where you don't need something. At the same time, that almost gives me more incentive to go after Josh Simmons because I think he is the best tackle in the class. And I think, having Cam Robinson there allows him to heal fully from that patellar tendon tear. So I'm just going to do that. I love the idea of Ibuka back, but at the end of the day, it's the Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell meme with Ibuka and Simmons.
Yeah. It gives you potential at least to make amends for the Laramie Tunsil trade down the road to just find a new franchise left tackle.
Right.
All right. Rams at 26. You know what? I think I will stop the Shamar Stewart slide here.
Ooh.
I'm just making sure that's what I want to do. I'm just looking at the board.
Ooh. That is intriguing. Okay.
Because the one thing I really do praise Shamar Stewart for is he can blow shit up, right? Like you can drop a stick of dynamite and nobody schemes up their pass rush better than the Rams. So, geez, man, like you already have that on one side with Jared Verse. Now you have it on the other side with Stewart. You've got, these super athletic defensive tackles that will loop in and around him. And you can even take Shamar and put him as like the 4-eye and still have Byron Young out there who, Byron Young's fine. Like he's a mid-range number 2.
Right.
He doesn't stop me from taking Shamar Stewart.
Right.
But you can do the ET stunt with Shamar Stewart as the interior player, blow up the guard and the tackle, and then have Byron Young looped open. So like it just amplifies everything they do super well.
Okay. Wow.
And then if he develops as an actual football player, great.
The athleticism is worth taking because of the schematic fit. I like that. That's because I'm not a huge fan of Shamar Stewart either. It's good to know that you have some confidence in especially that fit right there. Because I would never really think about the Rams, but when you end up describing it in that way, enlightening. I appreciate that. Because it's also hard to find spots outside of like Detroit, Washington, for it to go. So back with the Ravens here. I have a feeling you might not like this pick. Actually, I know you're not going to like this pick because you hate this player. But I might end up, because I've done it so many times or done safety so many times, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go and actually just get something that I don't think the Ravens pass rush has been remotely good enough. I'm going to get something that solid B+ pick. Don't continue swinging for the fence. Get someone who's just good. That's what I think of Donovan Ezeraku.
Oh, you think I hate Donovan Ezeraku?
No. Oh, no. I was talking about Nicky Manwari.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. You threw me for a loop there.
I was like,
yes. Nicky Manwari, I have a 2nd to a 3rd round grade on.
That's not bad.
My top 50.
That's not horrible.
I mean, at some point you have to gamble on that profile.
Right. I mean, like, I thought that
And
you had a much
it's
lower.
come back. Like,
Yeah.
the consensus has come back. When he after the combine, it was like,
It's
"Oh, he's
always
going in
gonna
the
be like
top
that.
12." It's like, "You guys are nuts." Like, throw on the tape.
I'm gonna be honest, I have a lot more faith in him than you do necessarily, but I do not want him anywhere near the line of scrimmage. I think you'll agree with that.
Which
Do
is a
not
problem when you're 6'3", 220.
but he could kinda just forget the build. Just forget the build and just use him as a deep safety, man. Call it a
Yeah.
day. He had what, like, almost, like, 3 or 4 pick sixes this year? I mean, the guy's
I
is
feel like I remember watching all of his picks, and I wasn't really
right.
moved by them.
Okay.
He did have the one where he's, like, catching up his recovery on, like, a crosser, and he
Yeah.
runs under it, where,
Yeah.
like, you see the speed.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
anyway,
the anyway,
he's tied with me with Andrew Makuba for safety 4 at this point in time.
that's not insane.
Yeah.
That's fine. I know you love Winston too, so I'm sure that's
Yeah,
what safety
Winston's
too. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So it makes sense. All right. You're on the board with the Leones.
Walter Nolan's somehow still here, so I'm gonna take him.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, is there analysis required there? I don't know.
I feel like there might be because you're passing over Michael Williams, etc. So
I just have him so much higher. Like, I just think
ooh,
he's such a better player.
you're just going BPA, position of need.
Well, and need, like,
Yeah.
DJ Reader's not going to be there forever.
Hmm.
They like odd fronts. They like to have 3 D linemen out there anyway. So I think he can do, play 4-eye, split
Sure.
gaps right away.
Yeah.
Lee McNeil, I think, is going to be fine. He got banged up. What was his injury?
Aleem.
Yeah.
I
He
know.
missed the.
Yeah. What's it? ACL? I thought it was
I
ACL
don't remember what
off
it
the top of my
was.
head. But while you're doing
Yeah,
that,
it was an ACL December 16th. So
yeah, not good.
he might not be ready right away. So I like it even
Right.
more after that. Yeah.
For the Commanders, I'm looking potentially at boundary corner. I normally love to just go edge because I know and trust Dan Quinn probably more than most NFL head coaches that are defensive minded to maximize the talent of his edge core. At the same
Mhm.
time, that also means you probably take more of a value edge and make the most of them. So it's counterintuitive there. Wide receiver wise, I still think they could upgrade. Like,
I definitely do.
I mean, they definitely could just go Abuka here. But that boundary corner 2 spot, who do they have right now? St. Jude's left in free agency. I'm trying to remember who
They brought
or
in
they might
a
be.
veteran
They got Marshawn Lattimore.
from the
Like,
Patriots.
is it Jones?
Yeah, Jonathan Jones.
Jonathan Jones?
Yeah. Who can play slot or outside.
I mean, I know that they're really pressing hard on the drafting on their slot side with like guys like Jalen Smith. So I think that's their vision for that. I'm going to go Emeka Abuka. Just continue developing for your quarterback there. And I think we all kind of know that the wide receiver core is in need of a little bit of a little bit more youth, a little bit more explosiveness.
Make amends for lighting a 3rd-round pick on Luke McCaffrey last year.
Don't even get me started.
Lighting that on fire.
Yeah, no.
6th-round prospect.
Yeah, that's where I had him too.
All right. Sorry, Luke.
Yeah, pretty sure that was like legitimately one of my first F grades of the day. While you do this pick, I'm gonna take a quick look.
Okay.
I need to see this shit. I'm like, I have it saved as a note, which is a horrible decision, by the way.
I think for the Bills at this point, you got to gamble on James Pierce, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they never have a chance to pick a guy with his talent.
This is true.
I almost think you got to look at it like that, where it's like, yeah, we could take a Michael or a Scorton who are higher floor players, but they've gone that path, right?
Yep.
I would say Rousseau's kind of in between the high upside, high floor guy. He's kind of like where Michael is right now.
Sure.
They bring in Bosa, they got Epinesa, like they have opportunities to get edge 2, edge 3 types, but
right
to have an actual potential difference making player in James Pierce, and you put him in a theoretically a good locker room with a defensive coach.
Yeah,
I think that's where I got to take him.
Okay. I mean, the talent speaks for itself, man. I mean, he is He is
Yeah,
a
great
very,
mentor in
very
Bosa too.
right. So, big fan of that. 31 for the Chiefs. Are we just gonna let Jade slip out of the first?
It's not a slip for me. Is
I
he
mean, that
even in
might.
my top 50 at this point?
Where's he at for me?
He was 48th on my top 50 when I made that like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm trying
I
to
think he
see.
might slip out of it.
He's 39 for me right now. So not insane. But let's see. For the Chiefs, I honestly might go Mike Hill here. If I'm just being honest. But there's one other player that I kind of want to look at. That's Derek Harmon here. I feel like Tershawn Wharton's role, even though Derek Harmon's not like 1-to-1, there is some production that ended up being taken away from this team, and you need to you need to get it back. I'm gonna go after Derek Harmon here. Would honestly believe that I personally think Darius Alexander is better, but Derek Harmon is not 1,000 years old. So we don't need a veteran day one in the locker room. We just need damn good talent.
I like that. That's probably who I would have taken. Okay, Eagles. Kevin Winston Jr. in state.
Oh,
I like that Trevor updated it today.
I know. That's
the ADP is creeping up and up and up. I think I saw yesterday with Kevin Winston going like 3rd round.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think people are. I mean, I know most people in the industry are late. Like we watch safeties like last. So these guys just kind of
they're creeping up,
sit there, and then you watch them and you're like, oh, this is like a guy that could have been Derwin James if he was able to play this year. Like, okay, I got it.
I don't like his initial pursuit angles, man. I think he does a great job making up for it, though.
Okay.
Like, the guy, I mean, at least the game versus West Virginia this year consistently takes the wrong initial angle.
I saw a little bit of that.
Like, that was my concern. But I know I'm in
that seems pretty fixable, I feel like.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, for a guy that's played 500 snaps in his career. I think this is true. I think that's pretty fixable.
Okay. For Philly, are you just locking in Mike Hill at this point? Like, what are you debating between?
Yeah, probably.
Got Tyler.
Honestly,
Savone.
I was gonna say I'm kind of tempted by Savone.
Yeah. I mean, it does kind of feel like your value brand Quinion Mitchell.
Right. Your Kirkland brand, Quinion Mitchell.
Kirkland brand, yeah. You could, I mean, I know that you're not as high on Jade, but Jade could go to the slot. You could see Coop go to the boundary. Your smile just dripped right off your face.
Well, it was a double because, like, I'm not taking Coop out of the slot. No fucking way. He's like the best slot corner in the league, probably. So no, I'm not eager to do that. That's why I like Savone, especially. Not only do I think he's a better overall player, but I almost, especially because of the depth of the D-line class versus the depth of the corner class. I mean, I'm not a huge Keely Ringo guy. Odori Jackson is a total Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And those guys
camp competition.
And it gives you a little, they're at least playable guys, so you at least have some time with Ravel coming off the injuries. So yeah, I'm gonna take Ravel.
Savone. Yeah, I mean, I think if the Eagles are most likely to trade back. By the way, we'll do the Vikings pick as well. But if you do end up trading back, some of the players that they're bringing in for top 30s kind of feel like trade back players.
Sure.
Very, very possible to go after Savone early too and continue accruing future capital. But for the Vikings at 33, what are we thinking here? Like at this point, corner's been kind of eviscerated outside of Jade. I personally, technically, it would be my pick. I don't know. I would.
It is your pick.
I would end up going Jade just because it kind of matches the quality or the style of the other corners that you'd have. Is that a good thing? I don't know. But I would also, let's see, who else would I toss in there? Interior
specifically in general. Yeah. I was gonna at least say I forgot to mention Tyler Booker in consideration for me with the Eagles at 32 as well.
I mean,
not that I'm changing my pick, but
very Mekhi Becton-y. Yes.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that O'Connell wants to get away from the wide zone family of run blocking, and I don't think Booker fits them great for that. So
yeah. So I was like thinking of the tackles that are available that you could use as guards if you like really want to. Connerly is extremely athletic. It might be worth the dart throw at 33 just to say we're getting somebody. And then in case of injury, because I mean they had to freaking trade for Cam Robinson last year, ends up actually having a good band-aid in case of injury as well. So that'd be I'd actually probably go that route.
Okay.
It's an interesting. Yeah.
I like that more than Barron personally, because as much as I love Darisaw, the dude gets hurt all the time.
Yeah.
He's kind of, I don't know if that's why he fell necessarily in the draft initially.
But I know he had small hands. That was a concern by some people. He's like 8-inch hands or some shit.
If you're worried about hand size for offensive tackles, I can't.
There's bigger issues, right?
Yeah, I can't help you.
Bigger fish to fry, my friend.
Yeah.